Hello guys, I welcome you to yet another video on industrial relations. Today we'll be discussing about the approaches to IR. Today I have made the slides with my handwritten notes, okay? Because I didn't get time to make the slides. I have some other deadlines to meet, okay? But I'll be explaining the things, so listen carefully. Let's begin. See, in the previous videos, we have discussed about the concept of industrial relations. We have discussed about the objectives of industrial relations. So today we'll be discussing about the approaches, which is very, very important. So listen to me carefully while I explain. See, authors are of that opinion that there is no one right approach, okay? Rather, these approaches, individually or collectively, it provides an opportunity for creating a paradigm for understanding the complexity and diversity among the various actors. That is, complexity and diversity among the various actors means the government, the employers, and the employees in industrial relations. So the very first approach you can see, it is unitary approach. The term unitary, it denotes what? Single. Okay, so only one source of authority here, that is the management. Management controls the dynamics of decision making in issues relating to negotiation and bargaining. Here, who plays the upper hand? That is the management. It only shares the authority. It has the control over all the decision making things. It also, participation of government and tribunals and unions is not sought or seen as being necessary for achieving harmonious employee relations. Here see, the participation of government or maybe tribunals and unions, it is not seen as very much important things, okay, for achieving what? Harmonious employee relations. So we have understood from this that management is the whole and soul in this approach, okay? So here again we can see that workplace is seen as a temporary aberration. Workplace conflict is seen as a temporary aberration. That is, it's kind of temporary. The conflict happens at workplace, it's kind of temporary, and it results from what? Poor management, okay, and from employees who do not mix well with the organizational culture. This approach says that, okay, so unions cooperate with the management and the management's right to manage is accepted because there is no we they feeling, okay? It's kind of like management, it manages everything, okay, and they says that employees who are not able to mix up well with the organizational culture, that is why workplace conflicts happens, and it is temporary. It can be sorted out between the management and the employee. There is no need of state interference, there is no need for tribunals, and unions interference is also not sought here, okay? So the very underlying assumption is that everyone benefits when the focus is on common interest and promotion of harmony. Conflict in the form of strikes is not only regarded as necessary but destructive, unnecessary but destructive. So here this approach, it says that conflict, whether it may be strike or lockouts or anything, it is destructive, okay? So, but see, this approach is being criticized, okay? Because why? Because so many people have seen this approach as a tool for seducing the employees away from unionism and what? Socialism, okay? And it is also criticized because it seems like manipulative and exploitative towards the employees, okay? I hope it is clear. Now let's move on to the next topic. Oh, the P is hidden here. It's pluralistic approach. Okay, pluralistic. So again, the first one is unitary, it means single. Now pluralistic, it means what? More than one, right? Here see, totally different from unitary approach. This approach is totally different from unitary approach. Organization is composed of individuals who form distinct groups with their own set of aims, objectives, leadership, styles, and values. Conflict between management and employees are rational and inevitable. See, this pluralistic approach, it is saying that conflict between management and employees, it will happen. Okay, it is inevitable. You cannot deny it. Okay, but in the unitary approach, what they say, it is destructive. You should not indulge in any kind of conflict because it destroys the harmony and the common interest. Okay, whether it may be the interest of the employees or not, it doesn't matter in unitary approach. Okay, but in pluralistic approach, they say there are distinct groups with their own set of aims, objectives, leadership, styles, and values. Okay, the organization is composed of different kind of individuals, and conflict is very much inevitable here. I'll be explaining further. Organizations as coalition of competing interest, where the role of management is to mediate among the different interest groups. See, here management, it acts as a mediator and it manages the various interest groups within the company, within the organization. And trade union is seen as a legitimate representative of employees' interest here. Okay, in pluralistic approach, a strong union is not only desirable but it is very much necessary. Similarly, society's interests are protected by state intervention. See, in unitary approach, there was no state intervention. They didn't seek any state intervention. But here, this approach, it is saying that state intervention is very much necessary through legislation. And even industrial tribunals which provide orderly process for regulation and resolution of conflict, it is also necessary here. According to this pluralist, industrial conflict is inevitable and it needs to be contained within the social mechanism of what? Of collective bargaining, conciliation and arbitration. That is, the conflicts you can solve it through collective bargaining, conciliation and arbitration. Arbitration is nothing but you can call a third party and let that party settle the dispute among the two parties. Okay. But make sure that third party should not be biased. Okay. So this was pluralistic approach. Now the next is Marxist approach. You all might be knowing about Karl Marx. So this idea is taken from Karl Marx. See, this Marxist approach, it is also known as what? Radical perspective. To Marx, pluralist approach is supportive to capitalism. See, Marx, what he said, pluralist approach, which we have just discussed, it supports capitalism. Collective bargaining, employee participation, cooperative work culture, etc. are regarded as sophisticated management techniques which were in pluralistic approach. Okay, Marx says that this collective bargaining, employee participation, cooperative work culture, etc. are regarded as sophisticated management techniques designed to reinforce the management control and continuation of what? Capitalist system. Marx supported trade unions as a weapon to bring what? Revolutionary changes. Okay, see, this Marxist approach is primarily oriented towards the historical development, if you see, of the power relationship between what? Capital and labor. It is also characterized by the struggle of these classes to consolidate and strengthen their respective positions with a view to exerting greater influence on each other, right? In this approach, industrial relation is equated with a what? Power struggle. Okay. The price payable for labor is determined by what? By confrontation between conflicting interests. The capitalist ownership of the enterprise, it endeavors to purchase labor at a what lower possible price in order to maximize their profits. The lower the price paid by the owner of the means of production for the labors he employs, the greater is his what? The greater is his profit. Okay. So to Marx or to the Marxist, industrial relations are essentially politicized, they say, and the part of class struggle. For Marxist, industrial and employee relations only can be understood as part of a broader analysis of what? Capitalist society, in particular, the social relation of production and the dynamics of capital accumulation. Okay? The Marxist analysis of industrial relation, however, is not a comprehensive approach, as it only takes into account the relation between capital and labor. It is rather a general theory of society and social change. Okay. So I hope it is clear that to understand it in simple terms, Marx was of the view that all the other approaches, whatever existed, who talks about conciliation, who talks about arbitration, etc., collective bargaining, so these are all what? They are supportive to capitalism, because the capitalists, they always exploited the laborers. So it is a problem of class struggle, he said that, and we should use trade unions as a weapon to bring about what? Revolutionary changes, not only within the industrial premises but also within the society where classes existed. Okay. So the next is your Gandhian approach. So you all might be knowing about Mahatma Gandhi, right? So he forwarded this theory. In simple terms, Gandhiji aimed at achieving economic equality and material advancement of have-nots in a capitalist society by non-violent means. But Marx was not of this view. He also fought against the capitalist society, but he didn't. But the contradiction is Gandhi seeked non-violent means. Okay. Gandhi emphasized on collective bargaining, voluntary arbitration, mutual settlement of what? Disputes. So Gandhi, as we all know his ideologies, we have studied that. So he was not against strikes, okay, but he pleaded that this should be the last weapon. Strikes should be the last weapon, okay, for industrial workers, and hence should not be resorted to unless all peaceful and constitutional methods of negotiation, conciliation, arbitration are exhausted. Okay. So he meant to say that first use these other weapons like collective bargaining, voluntary arbitration, mutual settlement of disputes. Try these things. If it doesn't work out, the last resort is what? The last resort is go for strikes. His concept of trusteeship is a significant contribution in the sphere of what? Industrial relations. Remember that. According to him, employers should not regard themselves as a sole owner of mills and factories, of which they may be the legal owners, but they should not regard themselves as like we are the owners, we are the employers, and we have all the right to do whatever we want. That should not be the mentality of the employers. They should regard themselves only as trustees or co-owners. Okay, Gandhi said that. He also appealed to the workers to behave as trustees. Okay, so both these parties are co-owners. Like workers are also the owner, and even the owner is also the owner. They should have trust between themselves. Okay, but the owners, they should not use this machinery to exploit the workers, and even the workers should not use this machinery as to exploit the employers. Okay, but to protect their own interest, and they should use this machinery to the best they can. This is the theory of trusteeship, you can say. Okay, Mahatma Gandhi believed in this, the theory of trusteeship. You trust in each other, you should have faith in each other, and through that the economic condition of both the parties will flourish, as well as the economic system of the country will also flourish. Okay, the next one is system approach, that is developed by John Dunlop. He says that industrial relations system at any one time in its development is regarded as comprised of certain actors, certain context and ideology that binds the industrial relations together. So John Dunlop said that IR has three things you need to remember. There are actors. Who are the actors? Government, employers, employees. Okay, and there is a certain context, that is, there is an environment, there is a situation, and then what? Ideology. Okay, so John Dunlop believed this. These three should be there, and these three actually binds the industry together, the people of industry together. Okay, so this system theory, it tries to explain why particular rules are established in an industrial relation system. The theory is divided into four interrelated components, namely, I have already said, the actors working within the context, that is the situation, developing a body of rules. They develop a body of rules so that it will hold them together, held together by an ideology. Again, you may have different values, but a common ideology should be developed. Okay, so through this a good industrial relations can exist within an industry. So John Dunlop was of this view. Okay, so he also said that I forgot to mention, the terms and nature of the employment relationship developed by IR process, it determines whether the quality of industrial relations is good or bad within certain industries or organizations. Okay, okay, before I end up, there was this another approach of V.V. Giri, that is Giri approach. So that is very easy. Okay, Giri, again, the former president of India, he also had the same view that through mutual settlement and collective bargaining, the problems can be solved, the conflicts can be resolved. Okay, so he also had that same view. Okay, but he said that it should not go out of the premises. जितना हो सके इंडस्ट्रियल प्रीमाइसेस में ही जो दो पार्टीज है, दैट इज द मैनेजमेंट एंड द वर्कर्स, दे शुड सेटल विद इन दैम. इट मे बी थ्रू एन आर्बिट्रेशन, इट मे बी थ्रू कलेक्टिव बार्गेनिंग और कॉन्सिलिएशन एक्सेट्रा. ओके, so there are many more approaches, but I have picked up this 6 approaches. Okay, and I guess for post graduation, these 6 approaches are very much enough. It will suffice. Okay, I have taken the source is this economicdiscussion.net. Hope you have understood the points whatever I have explained. And actually, I have come up very late, like 3 days. After 3 days, I have come up with another topic. Actually, I had some deadlines to complete. I am doing some other works also in between. And so, please, I apologize for that, for coming late. Okay. But I will try to upload the videos as soon as possible, if time favors. Okay. Thank you so much for listening to me. So please, if you like the video, please subscribe, please share it to your needy friends. Okay, I'm again and again saying share it with your needy friends. Okay, so see you soon. Bye bye, take care till I meet you again.